Hey guys, Mr. Black here. I am one of the aquatic science teachers here at MacArthur. Today we're going to be doing an interview with Mallory. Mallory is actually my fiance, but she's also a zookeeper at the Houston Zoo. So we're going to be talking to her a little bit today about what it's like to being a zookeeper. So Mallory, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, excited to be talking to you.
All right, Mal, so we're going to start off with a question. This one's just so that we can get to know you a little bit better. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a zookeeper, as Luke said. I work at the Houston Zoo. I'm on the primate team, so I work with a bunch of different primate species. I work with one of our great apes, the orangutans, and a few monkey species, and also lemurs. So it's a very exciting job. I'm sure we'll talk about that more as we go along, but that's a little bit about what I do. Um, I'm very interested in animals, nature, and biology. So science has always been something that's really interesting to me, which is why I got into zookeeping.
Okay. And then, so how did you become a zookeeper?
Well, it was after I graduated college. My major was in biology, and I have always been interested in animals. I grew up with dogs and always knew I wanted to work with animals, and moved to Houston and was just really lucky to find a spot open at the Houston Zoo. I had worked with some other zoos before, working with chimpanzees, and there was just luckily a spot on the primate team working with orangutans, and so I'm very happy to be there. But yeah, it's a great job for um, working with animals. That's exactly what I want to be doing. So,
Okay. And so why did you choose biology as your major in college?
um, so I I always liked science, but to be honest, I didn't do the best in biology in high school, funnily enough. But when I went to college, I knew that I really liked the outdoors. I really liked nature and animals, and biology I felt would lead me down a path uh, where there's tons of careers that I could be working with animals outside. So that's why I chose biology. And then once I did go to college and I learned more, it was actually really, really interesting and a subject that I grew to be really, really passionate about. So if you are like me and you like the outdoors, you like animals, biology may be something for you.
So who do you look up to the most in the field of science, would you say?
Well, one of my role models is a female scientist named Dr. Jane Goodall. She is someone who, in the 1960s, studied chimpanzees and found out that there are a lot of similarities between chimpanzees and humans, which is was a big discovery at that time. And she's just a big role model for me because I really do like chimpanzees for one, but also because she just paved the way for female scientists. She at the time there weren't a lot of them, and so she's just a big um, role model for me as a woman um, to get into science.
Okay, awesome. So tell us what a day in the life of a zookeeper looks like.
Well, a lot of it is just generally taking care of them. Um, we come in and feed them, give them any medicine that they need, um, clean their areas, clean their bedrooms and their outdoor areas. Um, and we also do a lot of training with them. So a lot of our primates know how to show us a bunch of their different body parts, and they participate in their own health care. So we do a lot of training like that. It is a lot of playing and just interacting with them. A lot of our primates are very, very playful. So it's a lot of just hanging out and taking care of them. And it's very exciting being around them because they all have very different personalities. So that's fun to see.
So, do you have any interesting stories about zookeeping?
I can't really think of any particular stories. One thing I will say is we just actually hand raised a baby monkey, a baby red-tailed Ganon. If you want to see him, I can give Mr. Black some pictures, or you can look him up on the zoo's Facebook page. But we actually hand raised him because when he was born, he was having some health problems, and we had to interfere and make sure he was getting the proper milk and nutrition that he needed. And so that was a really cool experience getting to raise him and see him grow up. And now he's with his mom, and he's a full, healthy, happy baby. And him and his mom are just doing great. So that's one really rewarding story that I have working at the zoo.
Do you have a favorite animal or type of animal that you work with at the zoo?
I really like working with the orangutans. Um, they're very similar to us in many ways. They're very, very smart, very intelligent. So I love interacting with them. You can feel like I have full on conversations with them. Sometimes they understand a lot of what I'm saying, and they're very, very smart, very, very sneaky too. They like to steal stuff from us, and they're just very smart. And you kind of always have to be on your toes around them. And they're very challenging and very, very cool to work with.
Okay, and why did you choose to work with primates?
Um, when I first learned about Jane Goodall and I heard about all the work that she had done with chimpanzees, I just knew that I wanted to work with them as well. And so I did my first internship with chimpanzees at the first zoo I worked at. And for me, it was just being near those type of primates and just seeing the intelligence in their eyes and the amount of emotion and just the range of intelligence that they have. And that's why I chose to work with primates, because they're very intelligent and very emotionally and socially complex.
So, what are some of the biggest challenges of being a zookeeper?
Well, one, I will say it is a lot of cleaning. So it is a lot of hard work. We're constantly on our feet, constantly, cleaning and walking around. But that's the way I like it. I like being active and being outside and walking around. So that challenge is kind of a pro at the same time. But yeah, that is one thing that I'd say is really challenging. Every day is different as a zookeeper.
So, if someone were looking to get involved or was trying to become a zookeeper, how should they do that? What would they go about doing to try and do that?
Well, one thing you could do is volunteer. We need lots of volunteers, whether you wanted to volunteer as a keeper assistant. You could come and shadow us and be around the animals and learn what it's like to be a zookeeper. Or you could come work in our kitchen areas and help make the food and learn about what goes into that, providing all the care for the animals that we must do. So there's volunteering. You could also become an intern. That's actually how I started my zookeeping career, was being an intern during college, and just working a couple days a week and going in and helping out the keepers wherever they needed help. And that just was a good way to test the waters and see if I did want to be a zookeeper. I got to see tons of really cool things, and I learned, wow, I'm really passionate about this, and it helped me see that was the career that I wanted to get into.
Okay. And is it difficult to become a zookeeper?
I wouldn't say difficult. Definitely, I mean, there is some hard work involved. You do have to volunteer some of your time. Most zookeepers do have a degree, so if I would say a degree in the sciences, so you can go and get a college degree in biology or animal science, environmental science, anything like that. That would be really helpful to get your foot in the door, and also just volunteer, show up at zoos, help and give your time, and um, just be around there, and eventually you could land a job there.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mallory. I'm glad you were able to do this, um, and I really appreciate you giving us some of your time to talk about your profession as a zookeeper. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. Stop recording.